Hi guys, so today we are going to step away from Delta Math and finally do something a little different. So what I need you guys to do is please download the file that is in the assignments. The first page looks like this. And we are going to do 2 pages of notes of review of something that we have done already. And then there are some practice problems that you will complete. This last page is what you are going to submit for me for your assignment for today, Friday the 20th. So let's take a look. Today we will be practicing converting from radians to degrees again. So if I'm converting degrees to radians, I'm going to multiply by pi over 180. How I remember that it's pi over 180 is if I take this 35, I know radians are those weird numbers with pi. So I like to put the pi on top. That's how I remember it. So I'm going to end up with pi in my answer. And that's over 180. Now remember, I told you guys when we're doing this, you're only typing this 35 over 180 in your calculator. If you type this whole thing in your calculator, you're going to get some weird answer. We can multiply across first if you just like to see it visually like that. You don't have to do that. So I am going to multiply across so that we could see it. I have 35 pi over 180. So now I could really see that this is the fraction that I am reducing. So I'm going to show you on my calculator how I like to do that. Let me just get to my camera. So I am doing 35 over 180. I like to go to alpha y equals, and I'm going to just type in that fraction. Do not put the pi over 180. I'm going to show you what happens if you do put the pi. If you put the pi in here, pi is an irrational constant, 3.14, so on, so on, so on. So if I put this into my calculator, I'm going to get that irrational number. I do not want that number. I want this number up here, the 7 over 36. So I want to show you how we're going to put that into the correct form. So I ended up in my calculator with 7 over 36. I'm just going to put the pi up back in my numerator. And this is the equivalent degree measure for 35, equivalent radian measure for 35 degrees. So let's try a few more. If I take 120, again, going from degrees to radians, I am multiplying by pi over 180. I end up with 120 pi over 180. And again, just this part of my fraction, I'm going to put into my calculator. So I could do it in my alpha y equals 120 over 180. And I end up with 2/3. So I could write the 2/3 and put the pi on top. So 120 degrees is equivalent to 2 pi over 3. Last one of doing degrees to radians we're going to do is 270 degrees. Again, multiply by pi over 180. 270 pi over 180. And I'm going to put this part into my calculator. So 270 over 180. And I end up with 3 over 2. So 3 pi over 2. Again, this is the radian measure, and this is my degree measure. Those are equivalent. It's just another unit to express it in. Just like how we have inches and feet and meters and kilometers and miles, those are all different units to measure distance. Well, degrees and radians are different measures to use degrees, to measure angles. Sorry. So let's go the other way. What if they gave me one of these weird, crazy radian numbers and I had to go to degrees? My rule is going to be multiply by 180 over pi. So let's take a look at what this looks like. I'm going to take this 2 pi over 7 and I'm going to multiply by 180 over pi. How we remember that these ones are 180 over pi and the pi's on the bottom now is because you always want your pi's to cancel out. I have something in the top and something in the bottom, they're going to cancel out. Now I'm going to multiply across the top. So I'm going to do 2 times 180, which gives me 360. And then I'm going to divide that by 7. So 360 divided by 7. I do get a crazy decimal for this one. That is okay. Let's round it to the nearest tenth. So it is approximately, so it's about 51.4 degrees. All right, let's continue. I'm going to take this next one. Again, same idea. I'm multiplying by 180 over pi. My pi's cancel out. I'm going to do 3 times 180, which gives me 540. And I'm going to divide that by 5. So 540 divided by 5 gives me 108 degrees. Again, this radian measure of 3 pi over 5 is the same equivalence of this degree measure of 108 degrees. Now, I think this conversion is a little more useful because we know degrees, but radians we don't know. So if they do give us something in radians, it might be helpful to know, oh, 108 degrees. If I needed to draw what quadrant that is in, oh, that's in quadrant 2. Just different things that they could ask you to do with that. You might need to know what it is in degree measure to make it easier. All right, last one. Let's multiply by 180 over pi. End up with 180 divided by 4. And if we do 180 and we divide that by 4 in our calculators, we get an angle measure of 45 degrees. So that is all that we are going to review today. If you need to go back and rewatch this video, but what I would like you to do is submit, there are 6 questions of converting into radians and 6 questions into converting into degrees. If you need to on any of these, round to the nearest hundredth if they are some type of decimal value. You are going to submit this on Canvas, and that is going to be your assignment for today. So please make sure you are submitting that by 2:30 today. All right, guys, have a great one. Bye.